All the hard work you put into wedding planning is coming to a close, and all that's left to do is hope it goes well. You might not be able to rehearse the reception, but can you and should you practice for the ceremony? I think yes.
I think we know the answer.
I think the answer is yes. You should be able to practice for the reception, though. Just practice those
your
dance
moves.
That's right.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
You should practice your dance moves.
That's
you should
what I'm
definitely
saying.
practice your first dance.
Well, maybe most people. I don't have to.
You didn't have to practice dance moves?
I got my moves.
Yeah, they're good too.
Yeah,
they're
there's
not bad
something.
moves at all.
No, not even a little bit. It's like watching Chandler on Friends dance.
Yeah, so they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody listening is probably like, oh, that show on Nick at Night? Oh, yeah. It started 25 years ago today, or this year.
I was going to say it's not today, but it is this year. I read an article about it this morning.
Yeah. Yikes. That'll date you real quick.
Yeah. Good thing I didn't watch it. It doesn't date me.
No. Well, but you write a lot of like Nancy Drew and Boxcar Children, so that's a wide range.
It's a random fun fact for our listeners.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact. I've always loved to read.
Yeah.
All right. On
Sandy's
that note.
smart. And doesn't just watch TV. Weird.
All right. So let's talk about rehearsing.
Rehearsals. So let's start with the basics. So
Let's do.
who should be there?
Anybody who's in the processional. So bridal party, bridesmaids, groomsmen. Anybody family who's processing in. Anybody who's escorting family.
So ushers then.
Ushers, yep.
Okay.
Flower girls, ring bearers, readers. Hopefully your officiant, although doesn't always have to be, and your planner, or whoever is running the ceremony. If you don't have a planner, but definitely you need either an officiant or a planner. I would say, otherwise it might be a little bit of chaos.
Just a little bit.
It's just a little bit. I don't know who would be running
it's like,
it.
what are we
It's
all
like
doing
making
here?
me nervous. I'm getting nervous over here.
Yeah. So I've been an usher at weddings and gone to rehearsals and then been told, I know you didn't get promoted to groomsman, but we don't actually need you here. You'll just turn up tomorrow and walk people. So you do recommend
Whoa,
ushers.
there's a lot of things to unpack there.
There's
First, being an usher is still a huge honor.
Yes, it is. It is.
Second,
I'm not sour.
it depends. I mean, if they're coming to the rehearsal dinner, then they should definitely might as well have them at the rehearsal. I mean, I prefer if the ushers are there. They don't have to be, just like grandparents don't have to be. They can figure it out, and I can give them the usher speech, the next day too. So it's not required. They're optional.
So I'm just being salty.
A little salty.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So when should the rehearsal be?
The day before is most traditional. You could do it 2 days before. I wouldn't suggest doing it any earlier than that. Nobody will remember anything.
Right.
So at the earliest, 2 days before the wedding.
Do you really need to do one?
Kind of. I would say yes, like 95% of the time. If you have like one bridesmaid and one groomsman, then you don't have to. I think it just makes you feel better though. Like it just makes you feel more calm. Like you know what to expect the next day.
You get the giggles out of the way too.
Yeah. You can like kind of joke about it and like, I don't know, just like little things come up like, like, oh, we're going to kiss. Like, how's that? Like, I don't know. I don't want to be awkward about it. Are we going to hold hands? Are we not going to hold hands? Like, when do we look at each other? Who gives the rings? Like just little things like that. To me, the funniest thing is if dad's giving, the bride away, that always takes a little extra practice, Dad's always nervous.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of gets all
and
that.
It doesn't let go at first.
Doesn't want to let go.
Right.
It kind of gets all that out of the way. And some of the nerves.
Yeah.
So ideally, I guess my short answer is yes.
Short answer is yes. What if the venue isn't available?
So that does happen. When you're touring venues, if you're not getting married in a place of worship, I would make sure to ask how they handle rehearsals. It is possible that if you're having a Saturday wedding that they also book a Friday wedding and then you can't do your rehearsal.
Right.
So just so it's not a surprise.
It's becoming more and more common.
It is. So just so it's not a surprise. So you could do that 2 days before if the venue space is available. You can ask the venue if they have like an alternative space. So like maybe they have like a couple of places that you can get married. So maybe they have an alternative place that you could practice. If you have a hotel block, maybe they have a room you could use, a backyard, a park. So get creative with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the exact space. I know a lot of people imagine it that way because that's how we think about rehearsals. And certainly it's a little bit easier because you can see where you stand and all that stuff. But as long as people kind of know how to walk in and out, then I think they'll get the general gist of it and can take it anywhere. So no cause for panic if you can't do it in your venue.
Okay. Have you ever done one not at the venue or not at place of worship?
Yeah.
Where's the strangest place you've done one?
I don't know if I've done anyone strange. I mean, I've done it in a hotel bar, like in a hotel like conference room. We've done it in like a park, backyard. So
that doesn't mean not strange.
It's not strange.
But
yeah,
it's different.
It's just different, and it's always worked out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes everybody calmer, and everybody knows. My whole philosophy is if you be really proactive and you tell people what's coming up, they feel better. So if they know where they need to be in general and what the order is going to feel like, they'll feel fine no matter what the space is.
Now, is that because you feel that way?
Yes.
Is that because you want to know what's happening?
I feel a lot better.
Interesting. Wow. So
now you know.
My fly by the seat of the pants is
now
I
you
had
know.
no idea that ruffled feathers.
Who would have known?
Wow. That is brand new information. So on the day of, who runs the rehearsal?
So if you have a planner, typically your planner is going to run it. If you have an officiant runs it.
What if you have a planner and the officiant?
Then typically they work hand in hand. So the planner will typically run the logistics of it. So they'll run lining everybody up, practicing walking up and down the aisle, and the officiant will run just the portion of like the ceremony that they're going to handle. If you're getting married in a place of worship, then you may have like a wedding director who runs it in conjunction with the officiant.
Who's in charge there in that hierarchy? You've got planner, officiant, and church wedding director.
Well, the planner's at the bottom for sure. I'll let the other two fight it out. But yeah, so that's typically who runs it.
Okay. And then how will it be run?
So there's a lot of different ways to run a rehearsal. I won't say any one way is better than another.
I'm pretty sure your way is the only way.
But my way is the best way.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that we run our rehearsals is backwards in the sense that we line everybody up, they recess out, they process in. That way you know where you end up. Other people might run it the whole, process in and then line people up. I think it takes a little bit longer that way, personally. Yeah. But there's no wrong way. Just my way's better.
Just right. I mean, there is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
I didn't want to say it.
We did this topic.
You forced me to say it.
We did this topic last time around tipping, which is a great episode. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
All the episodes are. So make sure you listen to every single word that we say all the time.
It's so good.
Yeah. The content here is just out of control.
Here we go back to complimenting ourselves.
Man, I gotta tone that down.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, I really did enjoy this topic last time. Was do's and don'ts.
All right. You gonna hit me with some more?
All right. I'm gonna hit you some do's and don'ts. Wedding rehearsals. What are some of the do's?
Tell everybody that the rehearsal starts earlier than it does.
Why?
Because everybody is always late to a wedding rehearsal. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. There's always at minimum at least one bridesmaid and one groomsman who are late.
And a parent.
Somebody who's really important. So tell everyone to arrive early. I would say that if your rehearsal's at 5, tell them it starts at 4:45. Have somebody in charge. So have a planner, a wedding director, your officiant, your friend, your mom, whoever. But make sure there's somebody who's in charge. Once everybody gets there, people just are mulling around. They don't know what to do. So make sure you have somebody who can kind of take control of the situation and start the rehearsal. I think it's great to have an aisle. If you're at an outside venue, then maybe you can have the venue set up a couple of chairs. It's hard for people to picture what the aisle is going to look like and where they're going to stand and stuff if they don't have something to kind of reference. It's always fun to carry a fake bouquet. So I think it's a Southern tradition. I don't know, to have the ribbons from all your gifts of showers and put that into a bouquet. So put someone in charge of that. That's super fun. Practice the giveaway like we talked about.
Right.
If you're doing the giveaway, or even if you're not doing a formal giveaway, if someone's walking you down the aisle, make sure that you kind of practice how that's going to go, and practice when you're going to give your bouquet away, and when you're going to turn towards each other, when you're going to hold hands, and when you're going to look at each other and things like that, which feels weird, but you should practice that. And I think if you have flower girls and ring bearers, bring like the pillow or the basket or whatever. They're little. It's just good for them to practice with like what they're going to be doing.
Right.
Give them some direction.
And what they're going to cry into.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So then what are some of the don'ts of a wedding rehearsal?
Don't forget to invite your readers, because that's like a big portion of your ceremony.
Yeah.
Or like singers, or if you have anyone who's like doing a blessing or anything like that, because you don't want them to.
Saying it in your head is different than saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they need to know when to stand up and like where do they go and where do they sit. And like there's just like a lot of logistics. I think it'll make
And
them
what to
feel
do with
better.
their hands.
What to do with their hands. I would say don't panic if someone can't make it to the rehearsal. It's not the end of the world. You can fill them in. Obviously, it's good to have a majority of the people there, but it's not worth panicking. I personally don't like practicing the ceremony word for word. I think that it's better suited to have the full ceremony like revealed to everybody on wedding day.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is to just kind of like go through like, we're going to start with a welcome, then I'm going to give, a greeting, and then we're going to do the unity ceremony without like giving all the I don't know, meat to the ceremony.
Yeah.
Force the kids to cooperate, I would say this goes for rehearsal and for wedding day. The kids are a wild card. So if they participate, they participate. If they're crying, you don't send them down the aisle. You just, if they decide to run down the aisle or, walk slowly and look at everything, you just kind of got to go with it. You can't control that. If you're going to have kids in your bridal party, just know you can't control them. And then personally, I like it when you have the couple step back once you've lined, bridesmaids and groomsmen up, have them step back and make sure they like how the altar order looks, like the height and the way that everybody's standing, and you don't want to switch anybody around. So make sure that you do that on wedding day.
Okay.
So those are my don'ts.
Perfect. Well, as always, to close out, what are some of the key tips that you would give couples when it comes to planning the rehearsal?
I would just say like make sure that you plan for the rehearsal. It's not something that is like first thing you think about when you get engaged, but I would make sure you put someone in charge of actually handling and managing the rehearsal. And then make sure you let everybody know when they need to be there, where they need to be there, because people don't always think about that for the rehearsal.